Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. My name is Jim Landers, and it's my mission to uplift portrait photographers to make a great income doing what they love. Each week on the Portrait Profit Show, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. You are in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. For Digital Pro Lab, Amanda and her team, oh man, they are fantastic. They love you guys and they make you look like a hero to your clients. Uh, if you haven't given Digital Pro Lab a try already, I am recommending that you do. Go to digitalprolab.com. That's digitalprolab.com to see how they can make a significant impact, significant difference in your life. And of course, for Landers Photography School, my company, I help photographers do what it is that they love. Now, I've got classes on the photography side and classes on the business side. I do lean towards the business side now. When I started, who would have guessed? But the business side is fun, and it's where you learn how not to struggle anymore. If you are struggling right now, if you're having some difficulties, there's a way out of that. And it's through doing classes. It's through taking classes on the business side, because the business side is huge. The photography side is big. It is, no doubt. No one would argue that. But without the business side, you're not going to be seeing enough of the clients. You're not going to be working with the kind of people you want to work with. You're going to be working with people who drain your energy. And as a creative, you need things in your life that fill that energy tank. Well, coming to see me, Jim at Landers Photo School, coming to see me at Landers Photography School is the way to solve that problem. No, I want to invite you to watch the show with me today. And I want you to share the show with so you can let other people know that this is real, that this is happening, that this is going to benefit them. Do me a favor right now, click that little share button. If you're on Facebook, it's real easy. You just click the share button and other people will find out about it. Do me a favor also. There's a like button, there's a love button. I like seeing those. Do me a favor. When I say something that you like, click that like button. When I say something you love, hey, there's that too. If I say something funny, and every once in a while I do, and sometimes it's on purpose, then click the laughing button. But I like seeing those kinds of interactions. And of course, I invite you to comment. I invite you to ask questions. I want to hear what you're saying throughout the show. And if I happen to, I look over at the comment section every once in a while, not always throughout the entire show, but I do pay attention to it. And if it's something that I can bring onto the show live, then I will. So I'm encouraging you, comment, ask questions. Now, today we're talking about the entire portrait client process. And that is not what I wanted. Interesting. It's supposed to fill the screen. Why is it not filling the screen? How about that? That's what I wanted. All right, cool. So we're talking about the entire portrait process, the portrait client process, what it is that you're doing when you're dealing with clients. We're going to be guiding you from the initial greeting to the final artwork presentation. Now, that means different things to different photographers, and we will talk about that. But I will talk about specifically my experience where I'm installing photographs on their wall because I believe in completing the work. Now, that's my definition. You get to define what completing the work means to you. Because if I'm doing a headshot, completing the work is a digital file that I email to them or Dropbox. Yeah. So it does have different definitions. As a photographer, you are both an artist and a storyteller, creating images that are just as meaningful as they are beautiful. This session will equip you with the knowledge and skills to enhance every client interaction, ensuring your artistry shines through and leaves a memorable impact. Together, we'll unpack the steps to build lasting relationships, execute your artistic vision with precision, and deliver extraordinary value, setting your work apart as heirlooms for future generations to enjoy. Sounds good? Well, join me because the first thing we're going to be talking about is the initial interaction. The first time you have an opportunity to visit with someone. That comes in many different forms. And, but for custom portrait photographers, I found that turning those initial forms of contact, such as a web form, social media inquiries, emails, turning those things into real, meaningful phone or Zoom calls is the best way to go forward. So you've got an inquiry through your website, your social media, or maybe an email. That's great. Of course it is. But here's the catch our goal is a meaningful conversation, and that is best in person. But to begin, we don't want to waste too much time until we know that they are a good fit for us. And of course, what it is that we do. So we want to turn it into a voice to voice phone call or a face to face Zoom call. You may ask, well, why would I want to do that when I could just set things up where they could just sign themselves up and put themselves on my schedule? But for many sessions, I would recommend that you do that. But for your full sessions, the ones where you're giving everything you've got, you need to know more about what it is that they do. Yes, you can press the button in front of anything, but if they go into a tool store, is it any tool that can solve whatever it is that they're trying to do? No, it's one specific grouping of tools that will cause them to be able to get what it is that they want. Same thing with a photographer. There are things that you are fantastic at, that there are things that bring you the most joy. We need to see where those align. So, why do I say you want a voice to voice call, a phone call, or a Zoom call? Why? because phone calls and Zoom calls give you the ability to convey emotions and nuances effectively through your tone. Plus, you can share more detailed and customized information and the huge advantage of back and forth conversation and focused attention. Because when you send a text or an email, they get to it when they get to it, if they get to it. Because I'm sure this has happened to you many times, just like it's happened to me many times. I've sent an email and nothing. Send another one, nothing. Call them if I have their phone number and they tell me they never received it. Not all of the emails you send out get to their email box, their inbox. Sometimes it goes to promotions or spam, and sometimes who knows where it goes. So, in addition to tone of voice, a Zoom call adds advantages of body language through facial expressions. Therefore, phone calls and Zoom calls create stronger bonds than text messages. And text is meaning in text. It doesn't have to be a text message. It could be an email. It could be a response to a web form. So we can connect and understand their story more deeply when we are actually talking to them, hearing them. I prefer a Zoom call, but I will do either a Zoom call or a phone call. Happy to do either. Now, I want to break this down just a little bit more. I want to be a little bit more complete. So when someone fills out your web form or sends you an email, they have they've effectively raised their hand saying, "I am interested." So our response needs to be quick, ideally within minutes or hours, definitely within a day. The reason is to show we're excited about what we do. Also, because if we don't, you know what, we don't have a relationship with them yet. So therefore, they aren't waiting around. They are reaching out to other photographers. And the first one that creates that emotional response, something that they can connect to, they're going to go with that photographer. They're not in this to do lots of interviews to see who's the best in the area. They are trying to get what's right. And what's right is based on what is in front of them and how it makes them feel. So be that person quickly. Now, if you got a web form, you probably in your web form have asked some questions that will cause you to be able to personalize your response. So your initial response is an email. It is a text. It's an in-kind response to get them to make a phone call or Zoom call with you. So mention something specific that they wrote in their inquiry. It shows that you're attentive and genuinely interested in them. And here's where we guide them to the next step: a phone call or a Zoom meeting, whichever it is you want them to do. I give them the choice. Explain why this is so important, why you feel it's important. It's not just about dates and prices, it's about creating a vision together. So share that with them. Offer them easy ways to book this call. If you're tech savvy, tools like Calendly. Actually, you don't even need to be tech savvy. You just have to be able to work on a computer. So Calendly is pretty easy. I use it all the time, but there are a lot of CRM programs, client relationship management programs, that are made for photographers who that have Calendly integrated into them. So that's actually where I would lean. And at the end of this month, we'll be talking more about software. So put that on your calendar. I'll talk about that more later. The last session, the last class of this month is going to be on software. So tools like Calendly can integrate right into your response, letting them pick a time that works best for both of you without back and forth emails like we used to have to do. You know what? Let me give you an example of what I might send to someone, just so you have this picture in your mind. So again, this is what I might respond with. So, hello, client's name. Thank you so much for reaching out. I am thrilled to hear about your interest in it's whatever they have their interest in. So, uh, creating your images of your family's milestones, or creating a personal portrait, whatever it is that they have said they want to do. To truly understand your vision and ensure we're a great fit for each other, I'd love to chat with you. Would you be open to a quick phone call or Zoom meeting? It would be a great way for us to dive deeper into your ideas and for you to get to know me and my process. This way, we can ensure that we craft the most personalized and unique portrait experience for you. Could we schedule a 15-minute call within the next few days? It would be wonderful to connect voice to voice or face to face via Zoom. Please use my scheduling link here. So I put my scheduling link in. Looking forward to our conversation and the opportunity to create something beautiful together. Best regards, sincerely, Jim. So there's an example of what I might respond with, encouraging them to do a phone call or a Zoom call. All right. Now, what about once we are on that phone call or Zoom call? What happens then? By the way, are you getting something out of this? Is this helping you yet? Will you tell me in the comments? I mean, as we go along, I want you to share what you're thinking, what you're feeling in the comments for me. Let me know. And also, do me this favor. I am going to put oh, well, maybe I won't put that one, but I do want you to do me a favor and enter in hashtag live, letting me know that you're watching right now, watching live. Go into the comments and enter in hashtag live, telling me you're watching live. And if you have registered it, it'll tell me your name. Otherwise, it will say Facebook user or YouTube user or a LinkedIn user, depending on where it is you're watching. This show is being simulcast to 8 different groups right now. So therefore, you're coming from one of them, and you might see some of the others who are there with you, but I get to see everybody of those who register. And so registration in I'll put that down here on the bottom. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard, that's the platform I use, permission to see your name at StreamYard.com/Facebook. StreamYard.com/Facebook. That gives StreamYard permission for me to see your name. All right, enough of that. Coming back to the phone call or the Zoom call. So now that you're on that call, this, guys, is your moment to shine. It's not an interrogation, it's a friendly chat. You're getting to know them, their style, what they love, what they're proud of, what motivates them. And based on their responses, envisioning their perfect portrait session for the images that you're going to create for them. And remember, this call is also for you to assess if you're the right fit for them, if your business is the right fit. It's a two-way street. You want to begin with the end in mind. What is the purpose of this conversation? At a basic level, it's to determine if it's a good fit for both parties. But once you've determined that it is, what is the goal? Do you want to schedule them for a photography session? Do you want to set an appointment to go visit their home? Define the goal based on how you do business, not how you feel, how you do business. Now, what happens if you have to decline the business? Because that happens as well. You've experienced it. We all have. Sometimes it's just plain not the right fit. So I suggest that you create a short script for when you realize that. Maybe more than one script. Um, maybe because there's different reasons why you would decline the business. Maybe it's as simple as you don't like them. There's something about them. The vibe's not right. You don't like them. But what if it's just outside of the scope of what you do? These are different responses. You could make them all into one, but this is a good time to refer to other photographers that you know. So obviously, I believe in creating good rapport with other photographers so that you can do that. Knowing who they are, the other photographers, and what they do is important to that step. Now, speaking of building rapport, we want to build rapport with this prospect. This person's still a prospect at this point until you've decided that you want to do business with them and you've exchanged money. They're still in that prospect category. And again, you get to define what your process is about. For me, during that phone call, I'm not doing it to get money at that point. I'm actually doing it to get an appointment in person where I go to their home. But my path, my timeline is going to be different than others. Yours is going to be different than mine. That's whatever yours is, great. You want to create a comfortable environment during that call. You want to encourage openness and sharing. Actively listen to make your prospect feel heard and understood. Of course, we want to understand what the client needs. So you're asking open-ended questions that help you really grasp not just the logistical aspects of their needs, but also emotional and personal aspects. We really want to be able to handle objections. So create a list. Take some time, create a list of common concerns and objections that may arise during this call and answer them. So do this separately. This is part of preparation. That way, your responses reassure them and communicate value. You come across as intelligent. You come across as someone who's done this before. And of course, we want to visualize the outcome. You're going to suggest thoughts and ideas that align with their vision to help them see the possibilities and get excited about the experience, which means that we have to set expectations. So, briefly touch on how you will manage the session, including your next steps, the timelines all the way through, preparation tips, and what they can expect again during this entire process of working with you. Gently guide them towards committing to a session with you. If you want more details on that, on what to say during a phone call or a Zoom call, then check out show number 7. This is show number 161. So this was back on March 29th, 2021, 3 years ago. But that is a good one to look back at what to say on the phone. Now, obviously, if you want some additional help with these kinds of things, it's what I do, so reach out to me and let me know that that's what you wanna do, and we'll go over this. We'll spend some time with it. In fact, I've got a special deal for you guys. It's the same one as last week, but I've got a special deal for you guys called, in fact, I'll just share it with you now, called 20 for 20. 20 minutes, 20 bucks. And there is the URL. So if you've got your phone handy, just get a photograph of that. If you're watching this via phone, then let's see, did I? Yeah, I did. Here is the URL that you can write down. So it's calendly.com, surprise, surprise, calendly.com/photo school. All of mine start that way, calendly.com forward slash photo school, and then forward slash 2020. So if you go to that URL, then you can take advantage of 20 minutes for 20 bucks. And yeah, that's a significant difference than my regular price. Anyway, take advantage of that. Now, I want you to after we have had this conversation, and I don't have time to go into what we're going to be saying, but you're going to be following up after the call with an email that summarizes what you discussed. You want to emphasize the exciting parts of the potential project. It may or may not be set at that point, so that's why I'm calling it potential. It's like leaving them a taste of the amazing experience that they're going to have working with you, setting the foundation for a portrait session that is it's as unique as the people that you photograph. And of course, we want to detail the next steps, clearly outlining what will happen next if they decide to proceed, what you want them to do next, what they can expect next. This might include signing a contract, paying a deposit, scheduling the session. And we want to reiterate value and unique selling propositions. That's often just referred to as USP, unique selling propositions. Reinforce why choosing your service will benefit them specifically, tailoring your USP to the conversation that you had. So obviously you're taking notes or you're recording it and watching it or listening to it later. I just like to take good notes, but I do often record it. So, but that's just me. You do it your way. And then provide educational content. Offer resources or blog posts that can help them prepare for the session or understand your process better. Now, what resources? Things that you build yourself. So you may have created a video, a promo video of how you do your session, or how you do your portrait selection consultation, or how you do your delivery and installation. Whatever it is that helps them understand your process better, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about providing educational content. This is just client education, something that helps them better understand your process, meaning you've got to have your process nailed down so that you can even do something like that. Can you imagine how that would cause you to stand out from the competitors? Most don't. Some do. Some of you watching right now, you do that already. Others of you, you're hearing that for the first time. Let's talk about the planning session. This, and you know what? We've we've talked. I meant to put this up before. We've talked about the initial contact now. We've talked about following up on that initial contact. We've talked about the planning session. We've talked about the the session. The and we're now talking about the. We are talking about the planning session right now. So, welcome to what I consider the heart of the portrait photographer process, the planning session. What I call design consultation, you call it whatever you want. It's a planning session. I do this in their home. You might think that the heart is the photography session. It's not. Photography session is what's on the outside. Just like your heart is on the inside, what's on your outside is a different thing. The design consultation, the planning session is the heart of the photography session. This isn't just a meeting. It's where we step into the lives of our clients, turning their stories and their spaces into the canvas of our collaborative art. What does that mean, collaborative art? It's the two of us. It's them and me, them, your client, and you working together to create this art. It's not you alone, it's collaborative work. There are a lot of similarities between this section and the previous section, by the way. The things that you say during that phone call or a Zoom call, and what you say when you're in person doing a planning session, in many ways, they are the same. But we take it to a whole nother level because I'm doing this in their home. I'm seeing them in their comfort zone. I'm also seeing where this photograph is going to be displayed because I specialize in family portraits as home decor. So if I'm going to sell prints, should I not be in the location where that print is going to be in order to decide what's best for that spot? Yeah. I mean, how if I don't go to see them, or if I mean they could show me with their cell phone on a Zoom call, and that has happened before during COVID. But if I can't see where this print is going to wind up, then how do I know what's the appropriate size? How do I know whether it's supposed to be vertical or horizontal? How do I know to what extent it needs to be vertical or to what extent it needs to be horizontal? How do I know how high or low it is on the wall? I can't know those things. I mean, you say you're creating for them, but if you don't know those things, you're creating for you based on what you feel is best for your point of view. Well, you shouldn't be creating for your point of view. You should be creating for theirs if you consider yourself a custom portrait photographer. And the only way to know is what the end result is. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, tell me right now in the comment section. Let me know. Just say that makes sense, or wow, thanks. It's an eye opener. Whatever it is that's appropriate for you. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but do me a favor. Go to the comment section and let me know what you think about that. You don't have to do it this way. This is one guy's way of doing it, but you still have a reaction to it. I believe that any photographer can show up and press the button and claim that they care about their clients. I believe that. I believe that they are being truthful and honest. I just believe that it's so far from what it actually takes to make those statements the truth that I can't do just that. Now, if it's just a headshot for a business portrait, that's a different thing, but it's not what I do my marketing for, or did do my marketing for. Did it for family portraits. So I go to their home so I can see where it's going to be displayed. Now, the initial engagement of entering their space, whether that's physically or virtually, because you can do this virtually, we're not just photographers. You know this. We're storytellers. And we do that by first being good observers and listeners. Our greeting sets the tone. I believe it needs to be warm, enthusiastic, and genuinely interested. Now, I think most of us have that down. We don't have to work hard to get to that point. But we start by paying attention to their environment from the outside of their home to the entry to the inside of their home. We want to understand the client. So, how are we doing that? We're observing, we're asking, we're listening. Ask questions that help you understand them. Like, what's most important to you about your family? Not about your portraits. What's most important to you about your family portrait? Guys, the portrait part is you. That's what you are doing. That's your expertise. I want to know what's most important to them about their family. If I'm photographing a high school senior, what's most important to you about your senior year? I'm going to ask something about them. I want to find out about them, who they are. It's it's not just a question. It's to me, it's the key to unlocking their passion and their desires for this artwork that we're going to create together. But for now, it's about painting a picture of their expectations and how we can meet and exceed them. We want to assess compatibility because not every client is the right fit. We talked about this before for the phone call. During that phone call, we're deciding, is this the right person? We are still doing that when we're at their home. Now, chances are you've already pretty much decided you want to work with them, that you think it is a right fit, or you would have already cut it off. But it's still part of the goal. It is until you get a deposit. But I don't do deposits. A creation fee. We'll talk about that here in just a bit. So not every client is the right fit, and that is great. That is wonderful. I don't think of that as being a negative thing at all. I think it is being wonderful that not every client is the right fit. You don't have time for everyone. And you don't want to empty your creative energy tank for people who will never appreciate you. Am I right? This phase helps us gauge if our artistic style and approach can fulfill their vision. It's where we subtly ascertain whether this collaboration will spark the joy that both of us seek, client and photographer. Now, the session planning, once you have decided that's a good fit, then we get into the specifics of the planning process, discussing locations, times, themes, colors, and the narrative that they want to convey. It's a collaborative process where their input and our creative guidance merge to plan a session that conveys their story. Once we have gone through this process of making sure that we're the right fit, being in the environment where this is going to be so that we know where what we're creating for, the space, the people, all the different variables. Once we have decided this is good, this is where we're going, communicate the value and the fee. Now, during the phone call, you already did that. And I'll tell you in just a moment the words to use, but you're doing it both during the phone call or Zoom call and during this in-person session. At the point in the conversation when you feel that you have enough information, give them an estimate. They already know about your creation fee because you talked about it during the phone call. But now they need to know a good estimate on the parts. Now, I look at it as parts and labor, just like a mechanic. So the labor is the creation fee, the parts is whatever prints that they order. So They already know about the creation fee. This isn't just a transaction, it's an affirmation of the value we bring to the table. We discuss this openly with direct eye contact, conveying confidence because your work is worthy of confidence. It's a professional exchange where we clarify what we're creating together. This isn't a snapshot, it's collaborative art that will cause tears of joy for a lifetime and beyond. So here's what I say. Once I have defined that, once I know that we are going on the right path, we are ready to take next steps. Before we go any further, can I give you an indication of how much you can plan on investing? By the way, I say those words because I learned them from somewhere else. Yeah. I I've taken many classes, many workshops. I've had lots of different mentors. I've visited with lots of photographers. This particular one, I'd maybe he got it from somewhere else, but this came from Charles Lewis out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and he teaches as well. He and his son, and it's a fantastic program that they have, and they are wonderful. This is where that came from. Before we go any further, can I give you an indication of how much you can plan on investing? Pause for a moment for them to say yes, because they're going to. They want to know how much this is going to cost. Most people in your situation can plan on investing somewhere between X and Y, so 1,200 and 2,500, and get a larger one for themselves and a few smaller ones as gifts. Does that fit within your budget? Now, you want to say that in complete, you don't in a complete form. You don't want to take any gaps. You don't want to say it in parts. Say it all in one sentence. So we can go over that again. Say that one more time. Most people, well, before we go any further, can I give you an indication of how much you can plan on investing? Yes. Most people in your situation can plan on investing somewhere between 1,200 and 2,500 and get a larger one for themselves and a few smaller ones as gifts. Does that fit within your budget? You say that all out in one. Now, they may have some thoughts, some comments. They may say if it falls on the lower end, but make sure they have an understanding of what this could. You don't want to surprise them. You don't want to shock them at some point. For some, those numbers are no big deal. For others, they've never seen numbers that high before coming from a photographer. So I don't want to shock anyone. I want them to be aware. If this is outside of their budget, I've actually already learned it during the phone call. And based on time, we didn't go into the details of the phone call, but you can get that from the show that I mentioned earlier called "What to Say on the Phone." Now, as we conclude, this is wrapping up. As we conclude, we summarize the discussion, ensuring clarity on both sides. We then transition into scheduling the session and the subsequent viewing consultation, leveraging their engagement and excitement. That follow up, the post consultation, our follow up has to be focused, has to be meticulous. We send a detailed email or personalized note recapping the key points, the next steps, and expressing our anticipation for this project we're about to work on, this job. It's about reinforcing the connection and the excitement for the upcoming session. Now, let me give you some action steps to prepare for your planning session. So, define your planning session process in a way that reflects your brand and showcases the client's value. That's the first thing. I've got three. Number two, develop a list of insightful questions into the client's aspirations and needs. You know what? I'm going to give you four. Practice the art of discussing. This is number three. Practice the art of discussing the creation fee with poise, with assurance. A lot of us are uncomfortable when we talk about price. So have some role play where you give yourself that opportunity to do that, to talk, to come across as confident. And the fourth one, create a follow-up template that reiterates the discussion and sets the stage for the next steps in this process, this journey that your clients are taking. In crafting this planning session, not only are we preparing for a successful photography session, we're building a relationship. We're understanding their story and we're setting the stage for creating art that resonates and lasts. This deep connection elevates your work and solidifies that you are the photographer for them. Right. How you feel about that? You good with that? Tell me in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. And in fact, let me look at the comments. And ooh, a lot of you guys are here. I'm so glad you're here. And got it. Got it. Okay. Hmm. It looks like I've got several watching from YouTube saying that Facebook was freezing. Huh. Okay. Good to know. And Robert in Arizona told me last week that it was having some freezing issues, and so I guess we didn't solve that problem. All right. So hopefully that's not happening for everyone. I don't know. I don't know because I'm not seeing it from that point of view. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys for commenting. I appreciate that. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is the preparation for the photography session itself. So we're in the preparation stage, and then we're moving into the photo session. So first, it's the preparation for it. This is where our groundwork translates into action, and every detail counts to make the session seamless and special. It's not just about the equipment, it's about crafting an environment that brings out our best in your clients, brings out the best of your clients, ensuring everything flows smoothly. Let's talk about pre-session communication because communication is key as we're approaching the session day. We ensure everything is confirmed. We ensure everything is clear. So send text reminders, send email reminders, automate that process. I use Calendly to automate it, but there's a lot of others that you could use. Again, we'll be talking about this on the at the end of this month, the last one this month. I'll tell you more about that later. But send text and email reminders confirming the session details, such as the time, the location, any special instructions or requests that have been discussed to help everyone stay on the same page. You may think, well, I've already told them. They know. Guys, do not rely on someone else's memory of what you feel you said. You have been in a situation where you are confident that you've said something, and someone else has said, "You never said that." Guys, the way to be confident is to repeat yourself. It's the way. Someone, while they're talking to you, is so involved in what you're saying, so interested in what you're saying, that there are times when they are not listening to you very well anymore because something you said has spurred some kind of interesting thought that has taken them off into another direction. You have to reiterate yourself constantly, multiple times. You may think is 2 or 3 times enough. Oh, every time might not be enough. So send out text reminders, send out email reminders, repeat the things that you've already said. Doing this helps set your client's mind at ease and shows your professionalism and make sure that you guys are both on the same page. Now, the day before, I want you to do a confirmation phone call. Get on the phone. This is not just some routine check in. This is an opportunity to express excitement about the upcoming session and to reassure any last minute nerves. It's about saying, "We're all set for tomorrow. I can't wait to create these special moments for you." You're gonna say that in your own way. Of course, part of the preparation is the equipment check and more. Our, uh, our expertise, it shines because of our preparation. That's how we show it off. So do a a comprehensive check of your cameras, your lenses, your batteries, your memory cards, and any other equipment that you plan to use. Make sure everything's clean, charged, working correctly. Consider the session's requirements. Will you need additional lighting, props, backgrounds? Maybe you are going to need something that for you, like bottled water. Maybe you need a step ladder. Maybe a specific outfit that you need to wear. Preparing these elements beforehand means less stress on the day of the session. I want you to create a comfortable environment, whether it's in a studio, at their home, at some location. We we consider the client's comfort and the session's theme to create the right atmosphere. And of course, we're going to anticipate any needs that our client might have. So think ahead about your client's comfort and needs. Will you need to have some type of refreshments, seating, maybe a backup plan for weather concerns? Maybe that means just an umbrella. Have those things thought out ahead of time, prepared for ahead of time. I want you to review the notes from the planning session. We want to remind ourselves of the personal touches that can make the session special for the client. Like maybe they want to, if it's in a studio, maybe they have some favorite music that they'd like to have playing in the background. Maybe it's reminding them of some props that they mentioned they were going to bring. I want you to review and refine your pre session checklist to ensure that no detail is ever overlooked. And by the way, don't ever consider it done because you're going to tweak it. You're going to make changes to this. I want you to script out any communication, your key communication points before, during, and after the session. That way you maintain consistency and professionalism. Now, it's your job to set the scene. So plan to arrive early at the location to set up and ensure everything is perfect before the client arrives. This might mean adjusting the lighting. This may mean setting up a background. This may mean simply ensuring that the space is welcoming and comfortable. If it's a place that you don't have any control of, getting there early and just cleaning this, there may be some trash sitting around in that space. Be prepared to pick that stuff up. I mean, it's part of their experience. And you say you want them to have the best experience. There's a lot of things that make that happen. I want you to create a checklist of all of the necessary steps and items that you're going to need for the session. This will help streamline your process and reduce the chance of overlooking anything. There's also the mental and emotional preparation. So take a moment to center yourself and focus on the upcoming session. After all, you are creating an experience for them, but also for you. You want an experience, a good experience for you because you have creative energy that depletes really easily. So, therefore, you want things in your environment that fill your creative energy tank. So, visualize the session going smoothly. Think about how to adapt to any unforeseen changes and how to maintain a positive, calm demeanor throughout the entire process. Preparing for the photography session ensures not only the success of the session, but also the creation of an enjoyable, memorable experience for both the client and yourself. This preparation underscores the commitment to excellence and sets the foundation for producing truly outstanding portraiture and long lasting client relationships. Again, if you need help doing any of this stuff, it's what I do full time. Reach out to me. Make a comment in the comment section. Send an email to me at jim@landersphotoschool.com. Take advantage of the 20 for 20 session that I mentioned earlier. I hope you guys are having fun with this. If you are, would you do me a favor? Tell me in the comments. You enjoying this? Just write yes. Right? Thank you. Whatever it is that you want to share, tell me in the comments. Is this helping you? Let's move on to the photography session. Photography session itself. This is your stage. It is your it's showtime. You're the director. Your primary goal is to make stunning images. But equally important is crafting moments that your clients will cherish and talk about. These share worthy moments not only enhance their experience, but also boost your word of mouth reputation. Our preparation, interaction, and the care we exhibit is what sets us apart from the competitors. You're arriving early, you're mentally prepared for the session, and then when they arrive, you're giving them a warm welcome, greeting your clients warmly, acknowledging the effort that they've put into preparing for the session. Compliment their choices like their outfits, their hairstyle, setting a positive tone right from the start. Now, when we move into the session itself, as you work, keep the atmosphere light and encouraging. Comment on the images as you go, such as, oh, this is it. This is the one that's going on your wall. Or, oh, man, this is the one we talked about that grandma's going to love. Yep. That says, I am paying attention. I listened when you spoke during that planning session. Stay attentive to the client's needs and emotions, ensuring the session is enjoyable and stress free. To further build the relationship, acknowledge the client's participation and efforts before and where appropriate throughout the entire session. I want you to respect your client's time, create the planned images efficiently without rushing, and create a valued experience. As we wrap up, as we conclude the photography session, congratulate them on a great session, outlining and then outline what comes next. Yeah, you already told them what happens next. You told them all the way back at the original phone call. Doesn't matter. Always tell them at every step what the next step is. Whether it's something that they have to do or whether it's something that you have to do, or you're just informing them, inform them of the next steps and a clear communication about the follow-up process, about what it is you're going to be doing going forward. Now, we want to have clear communication about your follow-up process because we want to show professionalism and it helps manage their expectations. And we do that by every time we have an interaction with them, we send them a follow-up message talking about what we just did, how you enjoyed it, and what's next. The way you end a session can leave a lasting impression. I want you to show genuine appreciation for their effort and collaboration. A simple, heartfelt acknowledgement like, thank you for this wonderful session. I can't wait for you to see these beautiful images. That's the kind of thing that helps maintain excitement for the next steps. How we end the session, I believe, is as important as how we began the session. So express gratitude for their time and share what it is that you're grateful for about this session. All right. When you are outlining the next steps, it's about maintaining the anticipation and excitement for what's to come. But it's also about making sure that they're on the same page, that they haven't forgotten something or that they never heard it. The follow-up, that message that you're going to send to them, generally it's just an email. It could be a text, whatever's the right communication for them. It needs to be within a few hours, the same day. Unless it's later in the day, then you can do it the next day. But send a message, an email possibly, to express your gratitude, re-acknowledge their efforts, highlight some memorable moment from the session, and remind them of the upcoming portrait selection consultation. I'm going to give you a couple of action items for this step as well. So, from the client's perspective, I want you to define the portrait session from the client's point of view, emphasizing the experience and the outcome. I also want you to create a session blueprint, a timeline for that. Detail your session's workflow from the preparation to conclusion, ensuring a comprehensive and client focused approach. And then do it as a timeline, a visual timeline. Map out the session to identify and refine each phase for improvement. When you have all of the steps in front of you, you'll notice areas where you could grow, where you could improve. Following these steps, it's going to cement your reputation as a photographer who cares deeply about both your clients and your art. So let's talk about preparing for and creating your portrait selection consultation. This is kind of a guide to the art of image selection. Let's break down how to make this process as impactful and meaningful as possible for your clients. So, the preparation for this reveal that you're going to be giving them. I want you to cull it. I want you to go through a culling process, narrowing down to your best work. For me, I want to narrow down to somewhere between 20 and 40 images, generally speaking. There is sometimes a smaller range and sometimes a greater range, depending on what it is we're doing. But I want to narrow it down because I want to give them a manageable number, preventing choice overload. I don't want them to become overwhelmed. I want to keep their focus on quality over quantity. I know what's going to look best for the purposes that we figured out during the planning session. So I'm only showing them the ones that fit that description of what it is that they wanted. I'm choosing the ones that are going to look great on the wall. I'm choosing the ones that grandma's going to love. And I may choose a few others that maybe didn't come as part of the planning session, but I can see how they fit them, their personality, their goals for the session. I show my images with a projector. So let's talk about the tech setup. Ensure your presentation setup is working well. Whether you're using a projector to project in the space where the art will be displayed, or a high quality monitor or TV screen, the way you present these images should mirror the premium quality of your work. When it comes to showing the images, arrange the viewing environment where you're going to be showing these images to enhance their experience. Now, if it's their home, there's not a lot you're gonna be able to do. If it's your studio or your home, then you have every ability to arrange the viewing environment to enhance the experience. Focus on comfort and visibility and begin with what you feel will be their favorite image. I want you to have guided viewing. So when you put images online and let people do it themselves, it's not guided. They're going through the images, they're choosing the images. But as you progress through the images with them, pay close attention to their reactions as you help them make informed choices. And then, of course, we're going to address any modifications, any concerns they may have. So be prepared to discuss each image, the potential placements in their home, and any modifications that they may need. So when you hear concerns or objections, respond with understanding, with professionalism. And then we finalize their choices and we make the sale. So, selection and pricing through a thoughtful elimination process, assist them in finalizing their choices. Then, with clarity and confidence, present the total investment. Now, ideally, I collect that full payment, but I might do some kind of a 50% now, 50% later, or some kind of a payment process. No matter what, I want at least 50% before I begin the retouching and printing process. And I want to be paid before my images get installed on their wall. All right, that's me. You create something that's ideal for your situation. And then follow up and next steps. We want to detail the journey ahead. After the consultation, reiterate the process of moving forward from final retouching to printing to delivery and installation. And then post consultation communication, send a follow up email that summarizes what it is that you did during this selection consultation, the final details, what they can anticipate, what's next, how long is this going to take you? You've already told them, but you're reiterating it in an email. The portrait selection consultation, just like the rest of the portrait process, is an opportunity to elevate the client experience, to reinforce the value of your work and ensure that they feel valued and excited about their investment. And I do call it an investment. Now, if you're working in the banking industry, you may not call it that. In fact, I remember a particular gentleman named Ed Speed, who's a wonderful guy who now works for the Catholic Archdiocese, but he used to be in banking, and he was in a class, and he didn't have a problem with me using it, but he didn't feel like it was the most effective way to describe what photography is about. But to me, it is an investment. It's not something that I get to experience now and it's over. Like a meal, if I, even if it's an expensive meal, I get to experience it and it's great. But I don't It's not something that it's consumed. Art isn't consumed. It's enjoyed for a lifetime and beyond. If that's not the definition of an investment, then maybe I'm slightly confused. I don't think it has to do solely with money. I think you can invest in a lot of different ways that help you out in the future, that make your future more enjoyable. And I think a portrait is absolutely a fantastic example of an investment. All right. So, hope you're having fun with this. Let's talk about what happens next, the fine tuning and the printing. The fine tuning and printing steps are where your artistic endeavors are polished and materialized into the final product. These steps are the culmination of your collaborative effort with the client. You've got, let's call it artistic refinement. You're fine tuning and enhancing each image that they've purchased. Applying your artistic judgment tells the intended story with clarity and emotion. Using tools like Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Photoshop helps in achieving the right balance of color, light, detail, and more. Throughout this process, you still are going to maintain regular communication with your client. You want to have transparency. You want to keep them involved in the journey of their artwork. You don't want 3 weeks to go by without a single comment from you. So share insights into the retouching process or preview images to get their input. Now, I don't do that, but I know photographers who do send um, small images just to tease them. I prefer not to do that, but if you want to do that, that's your thing. Ensuring the final pieces resonate with their vision, you might choose to do something like that. All right. When it comes to printing and quality assurance, you want to choose a printer who's known for their excellence in product and customer service. So Digital Pro Lab is a fine example of this. Go to digitalprolab.com if you're not working with them already. As soon as you get your prints back from Digital Pro Lab, scrutinize them, confirming that you have received every single image you ordered, which I've never had a missing image. But hey, it could happen. So make sure that everything is there that you ordered and make sure that every aspect of the image aligns with your artistic and quality criteria. Because of that, make sure that you give yourself enough time to fix your mistakes within the timeline that you gave your client. And then when it comes to packaging and presentation, the final artworks presentation is the last step of the client's journey of the print itself, but you're going to go through some more steps. But thoughtful packaging that mirrors the quality of the contents inside adds to the excitement and the value of the experience. I put my prints that aren't going to go into on the wall into a box. The ones that are going to go on the wall, I put them into a felt bag with my logo embroidered on it. But small personal touches in the packaging process, like a note of appreciation, care of prints instructions, these kind of things contribute to a memorable unboxing experience, showing the thought and care that you're putting into every detail. Now, I want you to clarify the delivery or installation details with the clients, ensuring that they know what to expect and when. This final step is crucial in culminating the service experience positively and professionally. So let's talk about the completion of the service. This grand reveal where the physical artwork finally graces the client's space, transforming it and marking the culmination of a shared creative experience. So we've got that packaging and presentation. The way you package the final artwork speaks volumes about your brand. So each piece is wrapped and presented in a manner that's not only protecting the artwork, but also feels premium, like a personalized gift, enhancing the client's anticipation and excitement. But before we get there, before we deliver their art, and I deliver, I don't mail it to them unless they're just not in town, but I deliver it. I take it to their home because I usually am installing their work, so of course I would have to do that. Sometimes I hire someone to install, it depends. But this step ensures that everyone is prepared and on the same page. Scheduling a time that suits the client best, showing respect for their time and excitement for the unveiling. When I'm there, I want to present them with the gift prints first. I put them in two categories: gift prints and wall portraits. Present them with the gift prints first, then show them the wall portraits, and then install if that's part of your process. So take care to install the prints just right. Use proper installation tools, don't skimp there. And then, after you've got everything in place, everything is done, using your phone's camera, do a before and after image. So before you put your images up on the wall, photograph the wall prior to it being there. And then after your image or images are up, photograph them afterwards. And maybe even set your camera on a stand, your cell phone on a stand, to do a video of the installation. This is something you could add to your website. This is part of client education to help prospects better understand your process. We want our clients to feel loved. And so we want to leave them feeling loved and setting them up for the future. So after the artwork is installed, take a moment to ensure everything is perfect and that the client is thrilled with the placement of their and the presentation. Ensure your client is feeling loved and appreciated. Comment about how the artwork complements their space and subtly introduce the idea of future sessions, planting the seeds for ongoing relationships and potential referrals. I'd also recommend getting getting them to stand in front of the wall portrait and create a photograph of them standing in front of their portrait on the wall, and to maybe even go so far as to create a video testimonial of them in front of the artwork on their wall. That's what I like to do. Follow up with a personal touch. So after you've left, send a handwritten note on custom stationery. Hey, you're an artist, create your own custom stationery, expressing your gratitude for their trust and enjoyment of the artwork. And then after about a week or two, I want you to call them. Now, maybe you have to send an email, but I'd prefer this was a call, and remind them and make sure that they're still happy. And assuming that they are, remind them of the potential for future sessions and ask for referrals. Do you know anyone who might want to have this in their home? Yeah, they do. Referrals are a big part of a portrait photographer's business. By treating the completion of the service as an opportunity to solidify the client relationship and lay the groundwork for future interactions, you create a lasting impression that extends the value of your work and nurtures client loyalty. All right. If you need any specific help with any of the things that we've discussed, then take advantage of my 20 for 20 deal that I mentioned earlier. I'll put that on the screen once more. So there is the QR code, and let me put up once again the URL for those who aren't able to read that. Calendly.com/photo school/2020. Do that and get yourself on my schedule. So, Lens Legends. We're wrapping up our exploration of the entire portrait client process. This ran a little bit longer than an hour, so I hope I'm not causing you guys any problems being late for something. But for those of you who stayed, I sure do appreciate it. From the initial interaction to the grand reveal of your finished artwork, this is an opportunity to leave a lasting impression on your clients. This journey is about creating experiences, building relationships, and crafting legacies for your clients. I hope that you agree with me. Your role as a portrait photographer is profound. Taking pictures, that's what amateurs do. You create images that evoke strong emotions and preserving memories that will be treasured for generations. Every step you take, every decision you make is aimed at enhancing this experience, ensuring that it's as rewarding for your clients as it is for you. Be intentional in your interactions, meticulous in your preparations, and heartfelt in your service. Let your passion for photography shine through and let the artistry of your work speak volumes. Remember, the effort you put into each stage of the process not only culminates in beautiful portraiture, but also in the cultivation of enduring client relationships. So, as you move forward, carry with you the knowledge and insights from each session and let them inspire you to continuously improve and innovate. Your journey as a portrait photographer is a powerful one, filled with opportunities to make a difference, one amazing client at a time. Remember, as you go through this process, this is just brainstorming. Free your mind from what you can't do and let your amazing creative mind work without restriction. Allow your mind to think about both the big wow factors as well as the small, thoughtful details that make clients feel cherished. As you know, you get the Portrait Profit Show every Monday. And so I want to tell you what the upcoming shows are for the month of April. So in 1 week from today, and I'll put that up on the screen, it's the second Monday of the month. Today was the first, so tomorrow, so next week is the second Monday. Second Monday, we move the time from noon to 6:30 in the evening because we're going to have a panel discussion, and it's easier to get people to speak in the evening than it is during the day. Besides, April 8th during the middle of the day is the total solar eclipse, so no one would be watching the show if I did have it at noon because at about 1:30 is when it hits totality. All right. At 6:30 in the evening, several hours after it's passed, we're going to be talking about how I give my clients the best experience. And you're going to get this from different photographers' points of view. How I give my clients the best experience. Put that on your calendar. Next is on April 15th. 1 week after that, 2 weeks from today, back to the noon time because that is our normal time. Get 5 new clients today. I'm going to tell you how to that day on April 15th at noon, before the end of your workday, if you'll put some effort in, you're going to get a minimum of 5 new clients. Put that on your calendar if that's something you think would be beneficial to you. Getting 5 new clients today, April 15th at noon. And then on April 22nd, studio management software. Now, I mentioned this would be at the end of the month. It's not the last one of the month, but it is nearing the end of the month. Studio management software. We're going to be talking about the tools that help you automate processes and make your job easier. Make it so that you can do all the things that you want to do. And then bringing the month to an end, April 29th at noon, quick money. Uh, I know a lot of you are feeling this, and many of you have told me in private sessions and coaching sessions, I need money quick. What is the quickest way? Well, put it on your calendar. April 29th, we're going to talk about it. What are the quickest ways right now to bring in an income? Quick money, April 29th at noon. I hope this episode of the Portrait Profit Show has been beneficial to your growth as a professional photographer. This lesson, I hope, has provided you with ideas, steps, and structure for your portrait photography business. You've got a lot of work to do to make everything work. I hope that you know I want you to be successful in your photography business. I help portrait photographers reach their goals, even when they don't know it yet. I love this stuff. You will come to love this stuff. I want to thank you guys for all your time and attention here today. I want to thank you for the efforts that you make every day to be such an amazing portrait photographer. I encourage you one last time to hit that like button, hit that share button. And I want you to let other people know about this show. And of course, tune in to our next live stream 1 week from today at 6:30 because it's the second Monday. Together, Lens Legends, we help each other achieve our goals and make a difference in the world through our passion for portrait photography. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers, and I'm bringing you the weekly Portrait Profit Show. Until next time, Lens Legends, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep making your mark in the world of product photography. Excuse me, portrait photography. I look forward to watching you grow. Bye for now.